So, Paul, thanks for being here as our marketing expert today to be able to give us tips to our community. Just a great service that you're providing. We appreciate that. So without any further ado, I'll just hand it over to you. Go ahead, Paul.
Okay. Thanks, Dennis. So what I want to talk about today is just 3 reasons why you're not making money with your website. And by making money, sometimes that turns people off. They're saying, well, I'm not selling anything. I don't have products. I don't have courses and that kind of thing. Well, if you do have those, this certainly is going to help you. But more likely is, depending on what your product and your services are, your website is there to indirectly get you new clients, right? You want the phone to ring. You want people to call you and say, hey, I found you online and I'm interested in working with you. So that's one of the other ways that I talk about when we say we want to get your phone ringing to make you money. Bottom line, that's what it is. Because after all, your website, it's a marketing tool, or it should be part of your marketing budget. So 3 quick reasons why you're not making money. Number 1 is they can't find you, right? So if somebody goes into one of the search engines like Google, Bing, or Yahoo, and they're typing a phrase, if you're not coming up on the first page or the second page, people aren't going to go to your website, right? You have to be found in the search engines. And there's a lot of reasons why that may happen or may not happen. Most of the time it's not happening because you're not optimizing your website for what's known as keywords. So those phrases that people want. So for example, if I had a lawn care business, I'm in Somerville, New Jersey. If you search for best lawn care in Somerville, New Jersey, I would want to come up with that if that was my business. Right? So there's a whole bunch of different keywords that you should be optimizing your website for so that the search engines know if somebody's searching for them, your website comes up. Okay, and that's known as on-page SEO. And there are ways to put keywords like that behind the scenes where it's not necessarily right on the page, but as well as on the page is good to do. Just a quick story. I had somebody ask me why their website wasn't coming up when somebody searched for, I think it was like Benduralis practitioners near me, right? Local Google search. So I looked at her website, and the first thing was I told her, I don't even see that phrase on your website. So if it's not even on the website, Google certainly isn't going to index for you. Okay. All right. So fast forward. Let's say you do have all your keywords, everything is done, and you are found in Google. Great. Step 1 is, right, check that off. The second reason you might not be making any money is that your site just looks terrible, or it's out of date, or it's hard to navigate. Your site needs to look professional. It needs to have relevant content on the website so that people who come to it, they read it. There's nothing worse than somebody finding your website in the search engines, clicking on it, going over it, and go, ooh, no, not for me, without even reading it. Right? So the old adage that you can't judge a book by its cover. Well, people, when they come to your website, if it's slow, if it takes too long to load, if it doesn't look fresh, if there's an old copyright date, if it's out of date, if it looks like it's from the 1990s, people are just going to bounce off and go someplace else. So you need a site that looks professional. If it looks like your site was built by your neighbor's daughter's boyfriend who has a sister who was home on college from spring break and had time to build your website, and they did that several years ago, that's not going to help you at all. Right? So you need a professional, crisp, clean-looking website. And even if it is a good website, say 5 years ago, you probably noticed that websites evolve, the designs, the way that they look just changes. So it's something that needs to be updated every 3 or 4, 5 years at the most. You should always be redoing your site. Okay. All right, so that's kind of 2 quick things. One was making sure that they found you in Google, right? So we checked that off, they found you. Number 2, they come to your website and it looks great. Okay. The third thing is that your site needs to be a marketing machine. So one thing we say is we don't build just pretty websites. Pretty websites are nice. People look at it, they'll read it. But if it's not a marketing machine where you're collecting names of people who are interested in your offers, you're giving them opportunity to call, right? Things known as call to action. You're directing them. Pick up the phone. Give us a call now. Telling them about specials, ways that they can interact with you now. If you don't do that, it's just kind of what we call brochure, where here's information about our company. Certainly that's important, but you want them to do something. You want them to take action. Most of the time when people come to a website, they may not be ready to buy. They're in that research stage. So they're looking at different companies to research. Going back to that lawn care, they may be thinking about in the early spring, late winter, who they're going to contact for that lawn care. So they're just doing the research. They're not ready. You want to be able to capture their information so you can follow up with email marketing or something that's known as retargeting. You may have seen when you search for something, maybe you want a new pair of boots. I don't know. I haven't bought boots in years, but let's say that's it. You search for boots, and then next thing you know, everywhere you look, you see the same boots popping up. Well, there's a reason for that. It's not just, oh, how did they know? That's something called retargeting. That's something that your website needs. So without these three basic things, being found in the search engine, having a great looking site, and having it being a marketing machine, it's really tough to make money and get engagement from people. Is it possible? Yeah, it is possible, but you're kind of stacking the deck against you without those three. So take a look at those three, check out your website, and if you're not doing one of those three or two of those three or three of those three, that's something that you should take a look at.
Thank you so much, Paul. And please stay with us because we're going to have a separate recording of Q&A. Thanks, sir.
Sure.